Greetings, peace, and blessings. Today is one of those days, and something that always brings me joy is creating content for YouTube. I have not been very active on social media much, and even like with videos, I haven't been posting as much, but that's something that is shifting. I have so much going on in my life right now. But I do find that recording, that doing readings and creating again, like helps me ground, and it just helps me stay in my magic and in my purpose. Today was just one of those days. It's kind of a cool rainy day, and so I've just been feeling kind of blah. And so I was like, you know what? There is a full moon. Yeah, so it is the full moon in Scorpio. I believe it's the flower moon. And I was like, you know what, this would be a perfect time to just update you on what I'm doing and do a reading for this beautiful full moon energy. And last night I was out, so I was able to see the moon, and it was like this cloudy. So I love when the moon is just kind of hidden, and that was very perfect for it moving into Scorpio, that kind of dark, mysterious Halloween night, clouds in the sky obscuring the moon. It was just really, really beautiful. And my goodness, if within the last like 2 weeks since the start of May, I have been so busy like refining and creating and getting back into some of the projects that I pressed pause on, like the Abundantly Ever After show and even my other podcast, Healing Single Mothers, and working on the alchemy community, which is something that I've wanted to do for the longest time, is to have a membership community where all of my things live. So every single thing is in there. One of the things that used to throw me off was that I do a lot of different things, right? I have the like Abundantly Ever After and Shamanic Money Priestess, which is all about not only like manifesting money, but it's also about your worthiness. It is about overcoming and shedding the lack and the struggle and the limitations that are preventing you from having, doing, and being what you want. So I have that. And then I also had Healing Single Mothers, which is now Sacred Motherhood, which is something that I'm gonna be talking about soon. So, and so like there were like separate communities and separate offerings, and it just got so big, like, but it all fits. I've always had this vision, and what's coming up now is like a house or a temple with different rooms or different pathways, and all of these different things that I do, these different threads, from the money magic to the energy healing to the sacred motherhood work to the body work, all of these different things have now like become aligned into one, which is what Sacred Wellness Alchemy is. But because I have like some niche focuses and certain topics that I want to discuss, that's kind of where the podcasts come in. And then there may be some like specific offerings that support moms, and specific offerings that are more about manifestation, money magic, clearing your energetic field when it comes to money and different things like that. So I've kind of just been breathing life back into those things. You'll see me uploading past episodes of the Healing Single Mother Show, which is now Sacred Motherhood. And why that came about, it's such a long story, but Healing Single Mothers was part of like my healing journey. And I got really sick and tired of seeing the vitriol that is spewed about women who are independently raising their children, and wanted to really shift that dynamic. But over time, and I want to say like 2018, 2019 is when that started. But over time, around 2021, 2022, it started not to resonate. At that time, I was also going through a healing and grieving and just a transformational process of my own. And so I kind of stepped away from that, and that's when I was more into like the Shamanic Money Priestess and Abundantly Ever After, having the Abundance Code Collective and doing these different energetic money frequency things. And even that, I kind of pressed pause on. Like, I needed to step away from everything because I was changing, my life was changing, was kind of like starting a new career, moving, there's all these different things. And it felt like I was abandoning myself by focusing on one thing. I am a multi-passionate person. Even in my art studio, I wasn't doing just one medium. I was doing oil paints, pastels, watercolors, acrylics, soft pastels, hard pastels, color pencils, watercolor pencil, anything that you could possibly think of, I was doing it because I love it. I love doing different things. But over time, I realized like all of these things have a place, but they all lead back to me. And so I started kind of shifting my work and trying to figure out how did these like pieces fit together. And that's where like Sacred Wellness Alchemy came in, because it wasn't just one individual aspect or thread or medicine or magic that helped me heal, grow, transform, and thrive. It was all of these things combined together. So it's like this holistic synergy, because if I'm only focusing on one thing, then other things are out of balance. And I found that in coaching people and working with people energetically as well as physically through body work, it is a holistic process. We can't segment things all the time because everything is connected. And so that is what led me to start shifting and really leaning into the core of what it is that I do. And it's just brought a ton more clarity and peace. And it's allowed me to be more creative, which I'm really excited about. Healing Single Mothers started as a book, and the final chapter talked about like embracing sacred motherhood. So it's kind of like this journey evolving and reclaiming the sacredness of motherhood and shedding the single. And so, I've always come back to the podcast and wanted to create content. But like I said, it just, I had ideas for episodes. I've recorded episodes that I haven't published, and just things just did not feel aligned. And like when I would sit down to record, it was like, it wasn't the right time, or something was off or needed to shift. And so I would go and I would look at the podcast, and I thought about taking it down, but it gets a lot of plays, even though I had not updated it in about a year or more. I think the last episode might have been in 2022, 2023. So it's been a while since I've like updated that platform, but I noticed like people were still listening. And so I was just like, okay, I'm just going to wait until inspiration strikes. This past weekend, or the week before, I started thinking about the book more. Still have been like update. The book is pretty much complete. I just need to like go back, revisit things, finalize things, and start moving it into a deeper editing mode, which is something that I have not struggled, but it's just like it just keeps getting swept under the rug. So yeah, this past week I started working on things and just had like a light bulb moment, and it was like that body of work needed to evolve. Yes, it will still be a core pillar and place of support for single moms, but I want to shed that term and just move into a place of sacred motherhood, because no matter how you became a mom, no matter the circumstances around it, that is still a beautiful and sacred thing that should be honored and respected and all the things. Ironically, I did not realize that it was Mother's Day weekend once like everything like started coming together, and I recorded the most recent episode kind of talking about the evolution of the show. So that's kind of where I'm at. You'll be seeing me upload the past videos or audiograms onto the YouTube channel because I created a playlist for that podcast just so everything will have a nice, beautiful place to live. And I'm really excited to be back and just feel more aligned and connected, and definitely we'll be talking more about that and how some of these changes have come about and what to expect and all of those things. But that's just a little update. And then I've been, it's so much creative energy is flowing for me right now. And so I'm just trying to make the best use of it and start back doing more coaching, as well as readings and energy healing sessions for remote clients as well. I have gotten a few new decks. I wanted to kind of talk about that. One that I'm really excited about is the Galactic Star Tarot by Pamela Chen and Alexandra Hanley. I shared how I wanted to do more like paranormal and supernatural readings. And when I saw this, I was like, this would be perfect to dive into those type of readings with. So I may do a separate video soon sharing this deck. I think it is really gorgeous when I saw the artwork. And Pam, she always creates very intentional decks that kind of have their own language, their own world. And I really appreciate that in a deck creator. So I was like, adding that to my collection. Now, moving right along, Scorpio Full Moon, let's dive in. So for the reading, I'm gonna use the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reed and the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, which is just beautiful, beautiful favorite. So let's me see what is the underlying energy for this beautiful full moon in Scorpio for the collective. So great big love is what popped out, and this resonates with the heart chakra. And it's so funny because I've just been talking about like how I've been diving into my passions and kind of just following my heart. And so seeing great big love is really, really timely. I love the blue in that card. And when I think about Scorpio, Scorpio is a water sign, which is emotions. And Scorpio energy can be very deep. It is very transformational. Same like great big love. So there's a lot of that passion, that intensity, that, and then with the different shades of blue, like I'm feeling like some subconscious. So there may be like some deep work, like inner work that's being done. You may have had a lot of like emotions coming up as well, things that like, not necessarily anger, but it could be anger, but things that make you feel tender at heart, maybe even just kind of reflecting and reminiscing and just like, oh, like just that gives you that warm, yummy feeling in your heart space. So I'm going to look in the guidebook to see if there's anything else that comes up with this particular card. So this talks about unconditional love, romantic love, and how that can change you, deep and profound harmonious connections, and soulmates. And so in addition to that, like I said, I feel like it's more so like that inner focus, having that inner great big love for self, which allows you to receive great big love from others and to give and receive in a beautiful, harmonious way. It talks about how love heals all wounds, begins all life. It sustains you when you are starving for grace, when you stumble and fall, and when you lose sight of your purpose and fall prey to the limited perspective of the ego. I really feel that this resonates with like everything that I was just saying, because going back to these creative projects kind of, and then on the bottom of the deck was healing the heart. So there's a lot of healing of relationships, of reconnecting with self and other that is happening right now. And I just think that is really, really beautiful. It really ties into like what I'm talking about as far as the different passion projects and returning to those things and really integrating all of the different bodies of work that I have. So I'm going to pull some cards and see what else comes up. And there could be like a coming together of two. Like when I'm looking deeper at this heart, there are, looks like feathers and wings. I see some sacred geometry. Like there's so much within that heart, like a lot of different details. And even it looks like some pieces like that looks like a little crack, and you can see like so much is happening around here. And it's like the love is coming in and like filling all of these spaces. So if it's not like partnership for you, it could just be messages from spirit. It could be you connecting in with your higher self. It could be healing from things that used to hold you back, feeling more love, more abundance, more peace, and more harmony in your life. And Ace of Wands fell out. So again, that is passion, that is creativity. I feel like there's a lot of spiritual messages coming through. I don't know about you, but my dreams have been lit. Super vivid, amazing dreams. And so there's like this fire, right, that's burning from the third eye. And it's kind of like this net or this web is broken as the fire is going up. So it might be like clearing out cobwebs, old ideas, maybe even stories perhaps that aren't serving you. You're finding your inner voice, you're finding your inner passion, you're finding that spark and that joy for life again, and you're ready to start taking action, moving towards whatever it is that you desire. Yeah, it just feels like things are being moved out of the way. I've been getting a lot of fire energy in readings, in my personal readings. Like the Queen of Wands has been coming up a lot. Okay, a lot of cards just dropped. I'm gonna set them to the side and just see what comes up. So we've got the Page of Wands. This is all about expression and creativity. This is getting curious and trying new things. Like instead of saying, I can't, I don't, it won't, just, throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. This is about trying new things, about being able to like openly express yourself in a new way. And I see like there's like this portal that's opening, and it's like this is, the timing is right for transformation. So it's almost like if you need to be healed, you're healed. If you need abundance, success, joy, love, adventure, it can be here. But are you open to believing and allowing and moving in that energy of it is here? It's almost like she's like in a meditative state. And in that state, right, we're able to draw in what it is that we need. Maybe this is even like healing, some sort of like hypnosis or energy work where you're clearing out old beliefs, you're anchoring into new beliefs that are really opening you up to all of the abundance and just the magic of intention that is available to you in each and every moment. So it's almost like as you're meditating, you envision yourself doing the thing. You envision yourself being, doing, having, experiencing, feeling, and you're drawing that into your reality. So then we also have death and rebirth. Again, that's more transformation. There's something new that is brewing up for you in your life. And I feel like with this card, it's almost like you have the power to create. So what are you thinking, doing, believing, and saying? because it's either going to bring you into a rebirth of this beautiful, new, abundant, creative energy, or it's going to force the shedding of things that are preventing you from being in that energy already. It's kind of like either way, you're going to get there. But do you want it to be an amazing, magical, co-creative journey, or do you want to take the hard way? So just be mindful of that. Try to pay attention to your thoughts. Where are they leading you? To your emotions? How are you feeling? Our emotions and our thoughts are very much so interconnected. What we think can affect how we feel can affect what we think. And there's this need of like moving your body right now, whether that is through dancing, through exercise or fitness, walking, whatever it is, there's a need to move your body so that stagnant energy can get out. You can also get some body work done, get some energy healing work done, but there's this need to move, even just like shaking your body, tapping on your body. Tapping is really good. There's something within you that you need to get out. It could be a creative project. It could just be stagnant emotions. So whatever that is, you have to feel into that for you, but there's something that needs to be released. And once that is released, it's going to help you open up to whatever transformation. What is it? Yeah, whatever transformation that you've been working towards. So then we have the Seven of Pentacles. So it's whatever seeds you've planted, whatever intentions, whatever thoughts, whatever beliefs, prayers, whatever you have been watering is starting to grow. So that is what you're going to see come up in your life. So go back, figure out what's been going on internally. If your external and internal are not matching, that means something needs to shift. And the beautiful thing of it is that you're in this really creative space so that you can create those shifts. But things are starting to come in. It may have been taking a very long time because, right, with Pentacles is slow energy. The earth, when you plant seeds, it takes time for those seeds to grow. It needs the nutrient-rich soil. It needs the right amount of sun, the right amount of water. If you haven't been actively nurturing your ideas or your projects, yourself, whatever that may be, meaning you're also taking action, because plants don't always thrive on their own. If you plant some seeds, you have to do things to take care of them. So make sure that your actions are also in alignment. Like he's sitting there and he's sending like healing energy into the plant, just kind of sitting with it. Again, it's a meditative state. Putting intention and energy into the things that you want to see manifest in your life. Now is the best and right time. Full moons typically represent culmination. What are you seeing in your life with this Scorpio full moon? You can even look back over the past 6 months and see, where am I? What's changed? What hasn't changed? What's working? What's not working? How do I feel? Am I taking care of myself? Just really tune in. And if what you're seeing isn't really what you want, that means it's time to get busy. It's time to get busy. With the Ace of Wands, I feel like that you have the energy, you have the intention, you have the power, you have the drive, you have the spiritual or energetic support to do whatever it is that needs to be done. But sometimes we have to get out of our own way. And with the Three of Pentacles, I feel like, again, that's having support, not having to do it alone, whether you have people in the physical and in the spiritual that are supporting you in bringing forward your ideas, your projects, the things that you want to manifest, the relationship, the finances, the stability, whatever that is. It's time for you to really focus on those things and start to cultivate a team or cultivate connections with the people who are able to help you along that journey and path. And I'm just going to look. These were the other cards. Wow. That fell out. So again, we have the High Priestess. There's a serious need to go within, meditate, clear your energy, clear your mind, because what you're thinking right now, your thoughts and your focus, where you're placing your energy, is having a huge impact on life. Science is catching up to what spiritualists have already known is like the quantum. Our thoughts can affect our reality. And we have to start to accept that as truth. So if you're continuing to speak negatively over yourself and your life, and then you're seeing those things come through, you have to start telling yourself a new story. One of the things that I'm really excited about bringing back is my Shamanic Money Priestess or Rich Priestess programming, because it dives into breaking up with your broke self. It's not about you necessarily being financially broke. It's about the inner thoughts, beliefs, and limitations that are making you feel that you're not worthy for more, that are keeping you stuck from going after the big thing, from taking consistent action every single day to reach your goals and dreams. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And I feel like this Temperance card is a warning, not in a really negative way, but it's like saying, don't stay so much in the energetics of it. Remember that you also have to take action. So we have the sun and the moon, right? The moon is our intuitive, creative nature. And then we also need the sun, which is the action, the structure. So both of those things have to come together in order to manifest. If you've been doing all the mindset work and the meditation and the energy clearing, but you're not taking action, you're not going to get very far, because faith without works is dead. You still have to take physical actions to aid in the energetic and spiritual work that you're doing. So we also have the Seven of Cups and Knight of Swords. I feel like this is telling you that you need to make a decision. Again, with like the death and rebirth, like I was saying, it's almost like you can choose to evolve or kind of be forced to evolve. So if you're not sure what it is that you really want, and one of the first activities that I do in any of like my coaching programs or with my clients is a clarity exercise. Before we know where we're going, we have to know exactly where it is that we want to go. So I have my clients really sit and think about who they want to be, like what is abundantly ever after to you. And you know, they go through that exercise and you get to get crystal clear on your vision and what it is that you want. So now you know what you're working towards. So once you have that clarity, it's time to move forward. And I feel like this is needing to make a choice and move. Sometimes we can get into that analysis paralysis or a little indecision, or I'm not sure, and just kind of back and forth. Pick something and go. And as you're going along the path, you'll then be able to course correct and see if things are really in alignment. But with the Nine of Pentacles, I don't feel like you can do anything wrong, because where you're going is where you're supposed to be. It's going to be a very grounded place. So I don't feel like you need to rush necessarily on actions with the Page of Pentacles, but it is like some sort of decision, change, or you just need to choose. You need to know what it is that you want, and then you need to go for it, because you'll be successful. It's going to be something that, again, you're going to be able to grow and nurture. So we went from the Seven of Pentacles to being able to hold the pentacle in a very beautiful and balanced way. And I love that the page is looking back, because they're like, look at all that I have accomplished. Look at all of these different goals and ideas and things that I've nurtured. And but this is the one that needs a little more love and attention. So like I said, I was sharing that like I'm a multi-passionate person, right? So there's always this kind of like balance of like, what's the priority? That's where I'm going. Like, what is the priority? What's the long term? So you're going to hold on to that long-term vision. For me, I know exactly what that is. And so all the things that I'm doing up to that point should all align with the long-term vision. And then you'll start to see that come into fruition in different ways. And the more that you take your time, and that's the thing, like being patient and taking your time, because sometimes things don't happen fast enough for us. And we're like, okay, well, because it's not happening right away, it can't be real, it can't be right, I must not be doing the right thing, so let me change things up. Super guilty of doing that, which is why I was changing stuff all the time. But when I went back to the vision of what I wanted to create, that's when I realized that all these different things that I thought I was switching and changing and this, they were all connected, and I was able to bring them under one umbrella. So this is a very beautiful time for you to cultivate the life that you want. And I'm really excited because this was like so unexpected and super confirmation for me as well. Decide and then act. If you're stuck in your head, do something. Move your body, make a list, pick something off of that list that aligns with your goals and your intentions, and do that. All right? I am so excited and empowered by this reading because there's a lot of things that I need to do. I want to see if there's a closing message. Closing message. Oh, into me, I see. Into me, I see. This is such a beautiful card. It's almost like I just love how all the light is just radiating around this being. And it's like the magic is just pouring in and around and everywhere. And I think with that, this is about, let's see, it's about intimacy, trust, dropping your shield so that you can allow connections, being vulnerable. So some of you may be nurturing some sort of connection or meaningful relationship, whether it's in work, business, family, love, romance, whatever the case may be. For some people, this is going back into yourself, literally reconnecting with who you are, who you're created to be, your divine design, your passions, who and how you want to show up and live your life. Like with the Three of Pentacles, like it's time for us to connect with all the things that are going on. Like community is one of the biggest things that we need. Like we need to connect with people, not just virtually, which is a really great way to connect with people all over, but also in person. Lean into your communities, and because that helps provide reflection. It helps you to see within yourself. Also, when you are working with or connecting with people in other ways, that's kind of like a mirror. You get to see areas of where you're strong, or maybe where you need to fortify your boundaries, or maybe when you're like, wow, like that boundary is like super thick, let me ease up a little bit. So there's this evolution of self in relationships with others that is also happening at this time. So again, some of this may be related to, I'm not feeling it deeply as far as being related to like an intimate relationship. I do feel like this is more self-focused as far as you in general in your life. But for some people, this could be a partnership that's helping you also to grow and evolve in some ways. And so maybe I'll do a separate relationship reading just to read on that energy. But to me, what came up was more so like creative, like following your heart, following your passion. So I am excited. I hope that this full moon reading has illuminated some things for you. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Please share in the comments. I'll leave the links to all the things in the description, and I will see you next time. Peace.